Hi and welcome to a Good Chat video. My name's Lucy and I'm so glad you joined me. In this series, this is one of our little things you can do to make big positive changes in your life and to make your own happiness. Playlist linked up here to the other videos. I really strongly recommend you go and watch them because all of these put together make one big picture of how you can be happy. They are the secrets to a happy life. They are the secrets to happy people, and they are scientifically backed. I love this series because they are such small ways that we can all take something from and bring into our life to make it so much more positive. And it really doesn't cost a thing. The first one that I've got for you is cultivate interests and hobbies. Don't just cultivate interests and hobbies that you half-assedly apply to. These are things that you need to actually dedicate time to. When you dedicate time to something that you love, you're dedicating time to something that you love. This ensures that you are building positive things into your life. These are things that you will take time out of work, of play, and you will just dedicate your time to it. They're things that build skills, they build sociability, they build all sorts of positive emotions in our life. Hobbies and interests are things that anything that you want to do. The best ones are ones that we love. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, you should totally monetize hobbies and turn it into a business. And I've got to tell you, no, stop. Just don't do that. No. If you turn a hobby or something that you love into a business, it's work. You've just turned it into work. Now you should absolutely, if you have a business that you love, that you want to turn into like how you make money, that's absolutely fine. Do that, absolutely. But don't turn your love and your hobby and your interests into work. Don't do that. You need things that are away from work, away. No. You want things in your life that you do purely for recreational purposes. Now, I'm somebody that has a really hard time with that. I've had 10 micro businesses over the years that have all been something that I've started off as a hobby and I've continued it as a professional practice. And all of them I sold within 7 years of starting those businesses because I simply lost love for them. This is tragic because these were topics that I absolutely loved, and now I'm over them. I don't do them anymore. They brought too much stress into my life and now I don't want anything to do with them. And it didn't need to be that way, and I needed to learn this lesson much sooner. So you want hobbies and recreations that you do for hobbies and recreations. Keep your interests and your passions to you and work so that you can afford to do those. Don't do those so that you can afford to work. It doesn't work out that way. The next one is strategize your happiness. That's right, you need a plan. You're not born knowing how to be happy or unhappy. These are behaviors that we compound within ourselves with our behaviors and our models around us. And these are the things that we put together and we go, oh, this is what happiness looks like. This is what unhappiness feels like. But when you strategize, okay, this is what makes me happy. This is how I work towards it. And this is what makes me miserable. I don't want to do that. Strategize. Know yourself, know what you want, and go for it. Put plans into place that you can follow. You also have to let yourself be happy. Now that sounds really strange because why wouldn't you? But the fact is, if you don't work at it and if you don't know what happiness is and you don't strategize to be happy, you're probably not going to be, because people that don't strategize their happiness, they don't have a plan for it. They don't know what it feels like and they don't know what they're looking for. They're just wandering along going, is this happy? Is this what happiness looks like? Is that happiness? Strategize your happiness. Honestly, it's the simplest thing to just know what it is you're looking for to make you happy. The best is yet to come. Don't you just love it when you're sitting with a bunch of people, particularly when you're around my age and you're not a boomer, but high school was a long time behind you, and there's always that one person that talks about their glory days in high school and you're just thinking, what? Your best days were 25 years ago? Oh my God, shut up, Greg. Nobody likes that person. Nobody wants to be that person. Don't be that person. Your best days are always tomorrow. Tomorrow has the potential of being your best day. Today has the potential of being your best day. Yesterday is a measure of how good it should be tomorrow. It's not your best days. If you live your life based in high school and you're 20 years past it, that means that you've had 20 years that you don't acknowledge as being good. What is going on in your head? No, let's just stop right there. It's okay to romanticize our experiences of the past, but it's not okay to say that that's our glory time. That's the best days of our lives. Sure, we got to socialise, we didn't have many responsibilities, and the workload was, looking back on it, manageable. Didn't feel like it at the time, but looking back now, oh yeah, I'll take that workload, thank you. But they weren't our best days. Our best days are those that we make, and they're tomorrow, not yesterday. Okay, and? Sounds really silly. What does that mean? Okay, and is what we should be doing when we're comparing ourselves to others. Oh, did you hear? Tiffany just got herself a yacht and she's got a Lamborghini and that big old house of hers. Oh, have you seen it? Okay, and? It's how we stop ourselves comparing to other people. Well, and then what? It's an amazing mind shift that when we actually get into the habit of doing it, we acknowledge other people's success, absolutely, but we don't compare ourselves to that success. Other people's stories are other people's stories. That's when we go, okay, and? Oh, wouldn't you just love that? Okay, and? It's an amazing tool that we can use to stop ourselves from holding comparisons of other people's into our own lives and saying, oh, we're not as successful as that person. We don't have as much as they do. No, well, we're living our story. We're not living their story. And their story is perfectly okay. We don't know how much debt they have. We don't know if they won Tats Lotto or if they inherited it from grandma, or if they worked every damn day of their life to get there. All we know is what we can see and what we're told. And that's not always the truth. It's not always that cut and dry. And also, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with where we are? We need to acknowledge that our path in life is where we are. This is the moment that we've come to. If we're not happy with that, well then we need to develop goals and work towards other ones. But we don't compare to other people because that way does not lie happiness. The next one for you is read. I cannot stress this enough. Books. Read on how to be happy. Read on how to be successful. Read on how to be a better person. Read about other people that are better. Read about all sorts of things. Read fantasy novels. Read murder mysteries. Read whatever you want to. Reading opens up a whole range of emotional access that we might not have in our day-to-day lives. Even reading fiction has so much value when we can use it to tool and reframe thinking. Books have a plethora of knowledge that we can access. I'm a prolific reader. I read tons and tons on my absolute favorite subject, which is my work. I love reading about like self-improvement and new therapies and old therapies. One of my favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie wrote the golden standard on how to get along with people. If you haven't read it, go and read it, please. There's so many skills in that are just as relevant they are today than they were like 60 years ago when he wrote that book. That book is the #1 self-help book for a reason. Books are powerful tools. They are how we can digest how other people think without having to be some weird brain-sucking freak. Books are such valuable knowledge and they're so easy to digest, and the more you read, the better at reading you become, and the better at reading you become, the more inclined you'll be to read, and the more you read, the more knowledge you'll gain. Please read books. Find out what makes you happy and sad. If we don't know things that make us happy or sad, then we're just going to wander around in this sort of default funk of we'll probably end up leaning on the negative side because we don't know what we're looking for. If we don't know what we're looking for, we don't know how to recognize it when we find it. We can't appreciate those little moments because happiness tends to be accumulative. The more we have of these little moments, the bigger the overall emotional experience is. Whereas sadness, on the other hand, and unhappiness, they tend to just be this funk that's just this easy to fall into fog that just gets denser and denser and denser. We should be exploring our emotions and our thoughts to recognize things that make us happy and that make us sad. The reason that we do this is so that we recognize those emotions. But you would be so surprised at the amount of times where you've actually not assessed something and gone, oh, this makes me happy. Why didn't I realize that before? What is this little thing that makes me happy? When we recognize these, we can cultivate them. And once we start cultivating them, that means that we've got access to that free happiness there. But it also means that we've got tools to get out of the fog of unhappiness. It means that we can cut through that and we have ways of bringing ourselves back over to the positive side. Now, a lot of these tips and even the video series itself talk about a happy life. And a happy life isn't toxic happiness. It isn't ignoring everything bad that's going on. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm well aware of the fact that life can be really negative at times. Bad things happen. We meet bad people, we have bad situations, there are bad things, and the world is a bit crazy at the moment. In fact, it has been for quite a while and it seems to be getting worse. But the fact is, if we all start to actually become more positive and being able to find that happiness in our lives, the world really will get better because we'll be more invested in making it a better place. That's exactly how we have to be, but it has to start on a personal level. We have to cultivate that happiness and that positivity so that we're inclined to spread it through other people. If you find out what makes you happy, you can help other people find out what makes them happy. So find what makes you happy, know what makes you happy, and acknowledge the things that make you sad. It's how we start to make the world a better place. One more for today. We'll have a nice quick video, but find something fluffy to pat. Honestly, unless you've got severe allergies or for some reason you really don't like animals, I don't know what's going on with you if you don't, but go out there and find something fluffy and give it a pat, because everybody loves to pat something fluffy. Animals bring us so much joy. Even if they're not yours, go and volunteer in an animal shelter or even just call into a pet store and pat something fluffy. Find a friend's dog or cat or horse or sheep or anything and give it a good pat, because honestly, nothing compares to the love of an animal. They bring you so much joy, and if you can't have your own, borrow somebody else's, because animals are unconditional and they've got tons of it. So that's all I've got for you today. I really hope that you've enjoyed this. My name's Lucy, this is a good chat, and I hope this was a good chat. Catch you next time. Bye.